America has a big...
has passionate fans. They do.
Not...
You didn't know that?
Never heard that before.
You'd never heard that before.
Of course we're aware, Latam. You make your presence known in the best possible way. This is a great tournament for your teams as well. They've performed so well so far. So, can Liquid find themselves chasing the top of the board with Team 1 as well and see if they can keep setting themselves up for success? Thatcher the first off the board. I know it was discussed with the possibility of removing Hibana, and well, there she goes. Well predicted. See, I told you. You just repeat what Michael and Parker say, and then you're great.
Well, there we have it. The Hibana ban coming in will be crippling Liquid's attacks. They won't have to deal with that for the next 6 rounds as they start off on that defense first. They will have to deal with it at some point as the Valkyrie arm was also getting removed. That is going to be an interesting one. Trying to play into the information gain that might be used by Liquid. Is the mirror also getting removed? Mirror, pretty normal ban, you know, it's still just like Thatcher, right?
Yeah.
Almost always removed from the board.
There's a lot of love in the chat right now. A lot of Vamoses, a lot of good luck, have fun. It's quite funny. It was quite different in the APAC game that was just in, where they were just like discussing what they had for lunch.
Talking about the rice, indeed.
Talking about trying to, you know, who's still got cans of Coke and or fizzy drinks and what they can trade. Here is a lot more international. Let's bring our serious faces and let's give it our best, because both these teams know that their best is what is necessary if they want to try and claw their way up this board and away from the bottom, especially with the surprise performances and success that we've seen from some of the other teams. Liquid themselves suffering at the offhand of it with a game that they are expected to take as the opener. But let's see who gets the opener here. We find ourselves down on the basement, the big spread. Can Liquid keep it locked down?
That is the question. Are Liquid going to be able to take these defensive rounds initially here? Because we have seen over the past couple of months that Clubhouse has been starting to move more towards a, well, evenly balanced map. A 50-50 split in attack and defense, so to say. And thus, if you manage to get a good start on either of these sides, that will be very helpful. Liquid will try and take that initiative as they're hungry for the second win to live up to the tournament favorites kind of title.
I think that's it as well, is they have a huge amount of pressure in a way. Is they're not just one of the top teams from their region, they are favorites for a lot of people. They are where all of those Twitch chat gambling points are going towards, is the possibility of Liquid being able to lock it down and take it. So games like this, where you're up against one of those big teams from another region to sort of leave your mark and say, this is ours, this is a 2-win game.
This is indeed a very important game. Who will be taking it? Making sure they solidify themselves in the top 4 for now. Harper here will be finding 2 closed doors, hoping to open both of them. With some pressure down onto the first floor, as of course basement is the site. They need to take care of any roamers that might be there. Just looks like Moringa and Palu are the ones roaming. Actually a third one, missed that one. Nesk just hiding in construction. 3-man strong on that top floor, and Palu the first one that will be forced to fall back a little.
Now, obviously, one of the maps that we did see, if I'm going to talk about success rates, was Liquid playing this as the opener of the day. They lost it against Empire 7-4, and it was a lot of little moments that ended up being punished in a big way by the Russian Giants. So, have they been able to tweak some of those changes to take it here in the fight against C9? Hot droning their way down the red stairs to clear their way across and via lounge, and it's a steady clear of any of the bodies that are playing busybody around the map.
Very quickly forced all the roamers back towards the side. Only Palu here standing quite aggressively on the central stairs. The opportunity to peek out if any member of C9 decides to go for some vertical play. Of course, Shao has the opportunity with the impact, and Static, of course, with breaching rounds and breaching charges available to her. So far, seems that he'll just be falling back, and they're going to be trying to turtle in as much as they can.
Well, slow and steady. PSK is ready to try and catch any charges that get put onto the Moto hatch here, but it's Shael that opens up against Nesk. Finally finds the first body down on blue behind the utility box. They've been taken care of, and that alleviates their ability to put pressure here. They're droning, they're pinging. Oh, there's Kaid, so got to pull back. He knows they have his number, so he's been able to buy themselves a little bit more time, but Is that going to be enough to lock them in here? Harper now putting his attention and focus towards the kitchen hatch itself. Popped on the opposite side, impacted by Palu, played it perfectly. Sexy Cake is the one that suffers in the spray.
Now they used to, Selma's very early on to put some pressure down onto the jacuzzi and onto the plateau for that top floor, and that leaves them with only one left right now. That means that you're not going to be able to open a hatch like that. They will have to rely onto the Maverick, and now to drop into Moto. With only 10 seconds left, they're going to be trying to push themselves into church.
9 players, 10 seconds, and we start to see bodies fall. They spray in, PSK sprays back, drops 1, drops 2, goes for the 3rd over the top of the table, but it's too late anyway. And Liquid are able to hold on and keep everything in place just when they needed to.
Just when they need to, indeed. It was a 1v2 in the end there, and if that one gunfight behind the bar would have gone the other way, it would have been a Cloud9 round, because they would have also been able to go for that plant. But it's going to be Liquid that runs away with it nonetheless. Cloud9, maybe a little bit not careful with their utility, using 2 Selmas very early on to put some pressure on that top floor. Yes, you allowed yourself, you enabled yourself to clear out these roamers very quickly, but you found that they had some issues when they got themselves inside of that first floor. When they needed to open up these hatches, they were unable to do it due to the impact trick coming out on the exothermic. There's not enough time at that point anymore to go for the Maverick on both those hatches, so they had to make a choice. They decided to just storm through motorcycle hatch and continue from there on.
Now, obviously, I'm assuming a lot of you saw what was typed in the bottom corner there, but obviously a little bit of a tech problem as we get ourselves set up and sorted again, make sure we can get in. Fuse wasn't the big secret pocket play. Unfortunately, there was a limitation that didn't allow Shael to choose an operator. But I think if we're going to look at that past round as well, the utility, you could see it play out in the fact that when they were still trying to put pressure onto Kitchen Hatch, when they were still trying to find their way in, they were looking towards, obviously, well, we can't get it open now. They lost it on the impact. They only had one opportunity, and it was gone to the wind, so they had to just charge their way through down the main stairs and via the church wall on pipes. It was a little bit less of a plan B, maybe not even a plan C, I think, at that point.
It was just a mission to salvage the round in that case, hoping to at least make it work, because they do have some gunners on their team. You saw it happening. They were able to win most of their ones. Just PSK, the last man standing behind the bar, was able to hide himself just in time to make sure that they were able to pick up that round.
So we are going to be getting back into the game at 0-1. Obviously, we're just going for the quick rehost to make sure that we can get in and get everything sorted as soon as possible. Nothing got in the way of the first round, so we don't need to obviously replay that. It will just be as if things are continuing. This gives the players a little bit of a moment to talk. To be fair, for all that we can highlight about how that came down to C9, they were a bit panicked, a bit pressured, and the utility game wasn't in their pockets. Liquid, it was a 2-1 at the end. It was a flood, and maybe that will be something where they can kind of be a little bit more aware, because they were playing a really good game of let's not try and hold the whole map. And if we look back at the very first game of the day that was their play on Clubhouse, that was where they suffered against Empire, because they tried to hold on to CC and Cash whilst they were locked down on the church as the actual site. With 40 seconds left in the round, we still had 2 Liquid players up there, and Empire read that. And I'm thinking they're now trying to play a bit more cautious to try and alleviate the problems that Empire potentially caused them.
It could be indeed that you saw them fall back quite quickly, whilst we see the Cloud9 members obviously having a lot of fun right here on the stage, just laughing it off as we are getting back into Clubhouse. But as you said, they fell back quite quickly, but that might be to make sure, as there were 3 roamers, you know, let's not make sure we're going to get overrun 5v2 again, because that didn't really go well against Empire.
100%. They realized very quickly, and I think that's the great thing about seeing the adaptations live in a day, because we're talking about a game that they played just this morning against another huge team from an entirely different region. And Liquid are obviously applying the lessons learned there and going, well, let's adapt, let's bring ourselves back together, and how we can reformulate that, because if you've not been keeping up with Latin American scene, they are a very exceptionally structured team. They are one that is really good at just having this consistent lockdown. They play big strats and big plays on their defenses, akin to how a lot of people will say North America's play style is very strat heavy. Liquid's is too, but they've also got to be well prepared for what they face across the board. Now, we're back in, and obviously we're getting ourselves set up yet again.
Yeah, and it wasn't clearly part from the Cloud9 master plan to bring that fuse, as Shao now will be playing onto that Sophia. Finally, we'll have the operator he wanted to go with. That's going to be allowing them to approach this second round. Not fuse, indeed.
He didn't actually want to play. Imagine if he did pick fuse.
Imagine if he did.
just for the memes.
I wouldn't go for the memes,
socials.
you know, during the Six Invitational 21 with a 3 million prize pool on the line. Indeed, exactly. But again, I wouldn't have been complaining if there was a fuse,
It would have been,
especially if it works. That makes it even better.
I think the good thing about C9 as a team is obviously they're from the APAC North region, which is the region that you and I cast. They're so positive.
Yeah.
They're so consistently upbeat and happy. We've seen it in their cams all day today. So they're always here to have a good time and play exceptionally, which is obviously why they're here, based on their performance of SI 2020. But if anybody is going to do some fun things for the memes, well, I recommend following their socials. They've had great reviews of everything that's going on in Paris, France.
I'm a bit like, we haven't seen the finger coming out yet from Cloud9. Now, that is something they were running quite a lot. Maybe due to the new patch, they decided to go for different kind of operators. Bring these smokes back, for example. But that might still be an option that's on the board. And I hear many viewers like listen right now and they're like, Caster, what do you know of the game? Who plays Finca? Well, Cloud9 does it quite a bit, and it's very effective because they use it as a bunker buster, as we call it. Whenever you're seeing some troublesome setups, you just pop the Finca and you go.
That's it. And it's one of those things where you talk about them as a region, it's a bit of a pocket play. It's a bit of one that they bring out, especially at moments where they know people too well. So we might not see it as much over this tournament as they find themselves a little bit more cautious in their approach until they get a little bit more settled and find themselves more confidently approaching each other. Either way, talking over a minute 30 on the board, and they're steadily opening up via logistics and construction to get themselves a big sight line through, and that is a very important wall popped open there. Sexy Cake and Nesk are doubled up on the top of red, and there's two bodies underneath two. This is how they played it before. They're ready and waiting for somebody to drift a little bit too close inside construction with the C4s, but nobody has. So Palu has rotated his way off, found a firefight underneath Lounge as they drift away from stock. But a minute on, Cloud9 are finding themselves potentially with time difficulties. Again, this is so many operators still on the board.
And this is something Empire dealt really well with. They had joystick going from below. Shal actually will be able to pick up the first kill. That's Moringa that will drop. Actual operator down on the side will give a bit of pressure down onto Cloud9 to actually try and push us. Two of them are offside currently. One on the top of the red stairs. You see Static preparing it to get an MV Taylor, making sure they could be going for a plant anytime soon now. And some of them will be dropping down to try and take care of that vertical pressure that might be arising.
Sexy Cake pops the first canister and dips his way closer and closer to the second even, and finds the man with the diffuser around the back of the chassis. What was he doing? Either way, he's not doing it anymore. Tries to swing round to the second, but another man is there around the corner. Suddenly, the entire site is flooded and overwhelmed by blue. Can Liquid try and hold it in the container? Nesk drops them from deep, and PSK on the opposite side. They've been able to pull something back, but if they can't get the diffuser with Nesk continually shutting bodies down, he wins the round for them.
First the diffuser down onto the bomb chassis, gets taken out. Logical, you know, they're trying to go for a quick plant. There was still someone on site. It's an oversight that might happen. Then you lose the diffuser on the secondary spot from a player that's on rafters. Then you lose a second player that is just running with the back towards rafters rather than towards the garage, and is just throwing the bodies at them here. Cloud9, you had this round under control, and you literally just tossed it into the bin, and Liquid able to capitalize of the mistakes that you make and put themselves up 0-2. Now to gym bedroom they go. Very costly round potentially here for Cloud9.
Two different Liquid players killed three different Cloud9 players, all trying to hold on to that one diffuser. It was such a scrappy approach, and it boiled down to a Liquid player being loose in the right place at the right time. You have to commend them on the game sense and the read, which is something that you will probably commend them a lot throughout this tournament, but I called it as that was Nesk's round, and I still believe it. He caught who he needed to, And he did it with all the cool and the calm that you expect of such a veteran.
I mean, at that point, right, you grab the diffuser again, you have a player that is below, just cleared out the vertical play. You know it's going to be safe. You have someone on site, you know the player who killed the initial diffuser planter is down. Why don't you just plant again? Why do you move to a secondary position that is exposed to all kind of new angles that you haven't been able to clear out yet? See Nesk inside of Garage shooting through the rotational, able to pick up 2 kills as a result. Liquid are basically gifted that round. Luckily for them, they can now build onto this one. They're going to Gym Bedroom, the tertiary site. You see a presence coming out from Cloud9, hoping to go through CCTV cache. Pretty default at that.
Now, Cloud9 have been really late in terms of actually getting a handle onto a body on the defense. Liquid, they're pulling themselves back, as we said. They've changed their tact a little bit from how they played earlier on in the day, and so far it's working. It's led to 2 very scrappy endings, though. And if Cloud9 can start to pick the pieces up and get themselves a little bit more coordinated, they might be able to actually lock down some consistency here. Nova swings around the close corners. They're trying to drop that shield on the back, but it's otherwise just Pop. Nesk, in the meantime, wants to meet them face to face as he hops around the corner, drops back ground. There's still ADSs set up to protect this shield, and we heard another one just pop itself back into light, all reset, and a lot of utility spent.
Yeah, no more S charges on static, mind you, and Envy will be able to pick up that first kill. Nesk, however, from these red stairs, has that shield, has a kill onto Shal, and that will be a very powerful position. They really need to deal with Nesk right here on the shield, and they managed to actually nail the shot there. Static able to pick him up. Now they need to deal with the player in cash.
Well, they do, and they do one better. Suddenly a 4 versus 1. Parlu quickly pacing his way back up the main stairs to see if he can try and claw himself anything on this rotation. Decides to head in. Static caught outsmarted Pogmat. It's popped off, and so is Parlu. D1 digs 2! A triple kill for Parlu, and suddenly everything has started to come back. One more than like Parlu!
1v4 clutch coming in right there. 1 aided by the Pogmat. The second 2 coming in by the member moving through construction door into the bedroom. Paolo in the right place at the right time, and that's the second round fluke in a row that Cloud9 just hands over to Liquid. The second one in a row. It needs to stop because Liquid is getting out of hand like this.
A timeout.
Well, I mean, I think that's a good choice after these 2 rounds we've just seen. I don't think they'll be laughing anymore.
No, you can see the frustration. That was their round. The round before should have been their round as well. Okay, kudos Liquid. Your own players are doing what they do best. Coming back on the flank and applying that pressure. But it really shouldn't have gone that way. It's just big lapses of communication and coordination after what is typically a very well-played start. Their approach and their execution onto the control of the site is great. It's just that last bit of finishing the job, Cloud9.
I think we can already go back towards the scuffle and the fight that we had about the red stairs. They did manage to waste a lot of utility, a bunch of smokes. All 3 S charges somehow disappeared. They still managed to get the kill for a 1-on-1 trade on Nesk, which is incredible considering he had a shield and the way that he played it. That shouldn't have gone their way already for Cloud9. They should have lost maybe 2, maybe 3 players to that play. They didn't, but then they still gave it away in the end right there. And that is why we have this tactical timeout right now. Quickly discuss what is going wrong. Why do we lose these 2 rounds that are ours at the dying final seconds of the round? And you can even go back to the first round, the 1v2 clutch we saw, basically running out by time because they were a bit, well, not careful with their utility. And I think that is, if you look at these last 3 rounds, something that is really not helping them.
All right, Cloud9, cool heads and calm. You're known for this, keeping a good attitude, a positive mental attitude, and then, well, putting a thumbs up to the camera after a success story. And you want to try to relive this right now, and that means getting your heads together because, as we said, the start is great. It's just, unfortunately, a little bit of a disappointing ending a couple times in a row. but it's always worth taking into consideration and mentioning that that wasn't just a timeout for, obviously, Cloud9 to get their heads together. Liquid have a chance there. They've just built up a bit of momentum based on huge clutches, based on being in the right time at the right place. Now they've had a conversation about it, and now they've gone, we can take this. Are we going to see them step up on a site that was a little bit scrappy at the end?
That is the thing. Are they going to be able to take full control now of whatever Cloud9 tries to bring to them? It's at least Nesk that is on the edge of going out for an actual roam. He's having the opportunity to rotate into garage, maybe even stalker the bar if he's feeling adventurous, and Moringa all the way on the top floor. He's at C4, has the SMG, and you've seen all on Twitter the last couple of days, they do have the best SMG players in LATAM, so you gotta be careful when one of them is swinging around the corner, because you are almost guaranteed to lose your head.
Yeah, EU Ranked has been terrified and terrorized by the amazing talents of Latin America with SMGs. They've been causing a bit of a fuss and a ruckus, and well, after only a few games today, it's very easy to see why. But still no intense pressure on a body so far. They haven't tried to meet a fight as of yet. Palu playing roughly where he was before. Nesk has dropped down. He was the first pick previously, but Cloud9, it's still slow and steady. They still are trying to enter on the top floor. They still haven't fully cleared it because of the mute jammers, because of the positioning of the utility, and they only have a minute and a half left to try and clear another floor before they even get to the site.
It's not much time indeed. They need to hurry up, and everything is literally being checked, and might show that a bit better drone usage could be very helpful here, as I count 4 people on the side, and that means Moringa is still on the loose. The question is, where is he going to be playing? Where is he going to be sitting? Oh no, he's okay. Never mind. He's in dirt. I totally missed that one. I thought he was still somewhere up floor, you know, on the first floor or whatever. But no, not the case.
Right, no juggling here against Moto Hatch this time round. They've instead been able to get it open. They have a little bit more time than they had last time, but last time it came down to a lot of pressure that was swung onto the site very quickly. Static digs their way through onto Kitchen, starts trying to finally open up the angles to make sure nothing is dug in by the person or utility inside those boxes, as he then creeps his way around underneath. They have 30 seconds, and they finally have some boots on the side. Digs himself down that center column there as Nova finds Palu on the cross side. They've been able to take the Banshee, and Nova's been able to try and stick a plant here around the corner. The C4 doesn't quite catch one. They're holding the angle. They want to swing round. They don't need to. Someone else is there, but Harper is able to find one back post-plant situation for the first time in this showdown, but Harper is still on a bit of a mission here. He's just got MV Taylor left. He has the vertical control here. Nesk has one impact, and it's not potentially going to be enough if he doesn't get a very clean shot. He's going to try and hold it. Repositioning a drone, getting himself set up, plays the game, hits the old body, doesn't quite catch it. There's the impact.
He gets it!
There's the down! He doesn't have the confirmation! He's going back. He's not quite sure. He only has a few seconds. Stick it, Nesk. Stick it.
You got to stick it. You cannot let go. Otherwise, you're going to be tossing this round away, and yet again, we have a Cloud9 round where they managed to get the diffuser down. Everything is going for them. The missed shot, like, he's droning, right? He sees that the defuse is going on. He decides to go for the peak, but at that very moment, Nesk goes off, gets shot at, knows that there's only one place the Bemmer can be at, tosses out the Pokeball, gets the kill. Almost was like, do I rotate up?
I said he had to hit that direct.
What an impact.
A scuff on that wouldn't have worked. He got the call, got the intel. The moment he went up there, I mean, he wanted the confirmation. Kudos to whoever in his ears from his team. You assume Sunwell went, no, go back. Go back.
No time to go up. The hatch is closed. That's the most important part right here, because, you know, maybe there was enough time for him to go up, go through the hatch again. But when he was going to get into that initial 1v2, he gets the first kill. He looks up to the hatch, sees it's closed. So he knows there's no drop capability. That means that they have to go for the vertical angle. So he tried to get the kill like that. Worked out in the end right there. Good call from the IGL. Whoever decided to scream, go and defuse. There's no other way. There is no time. And he managed to get it.
There was a moment where he started going up the main stairs, like, and then whoop.
Which way do I go? Left, right? Do I go? He was struggling, but they managed to stick it in the end. And that's the third round in a row, Fluke.
Yep.
maybe even 4th if you want to say that far, that Cloud9 should have won, but they did not. And that is, you see the stress right now on the faces.
There's a lot of...
Again, have a rehost due to the fact that Shao cannot pick. It happens, no worries. We just go in quickly again. It's all done within like 4 or 5 minutes, but I think these 4 or 5 minutes are going to be really annoying for them because they get so close, right? They get 99% there, and the last percent, they struggle to make it. There's still smiles, though. It's good to see, but it is so frustrating to watch for them.
Yeah, MV Taylor, he's a bundle of positivity. He's been able to try and pull the team back around here, and it's, I guess, the difference of that mental situation. It's the difference of being able to pull yourself back around because, you know, being swept aside in a game sucks. There's no two ways about that. You find yourself pushed aside. Being bitterly close, depending on your team's mentality, depending on if you have that one friend in your stack that is the motivational speaker, that brings you back up and gets you back in the game saying, lads, ladies, we're so close. We just have to finish it off. Or if you don't have that, people start to shut down. They start to get a little bit emotional. They start to find themselves stuck in themselves. It becomes harder than being swept aside. That is entirely down to the stack, and that is entirely down for C9 now.
Do you want me to list some statistics of this matchup?
I would love you to list some statistics.
Round number 1, we have Church Arsenal. The opening kill is for Shell on Cloud9. The round ends in a 1v2 won by PSK, so we got a clutch situation coming down from Liquid. We're going over to round number 2. Cash CZTV gets chosen next. We get the opening kill yet again from Shao. Cloud9 does in the advantage. However, Nesk pulls off a 1v3, yet again a clutch. We're going to Master Gym, third side. That would have been the side that they needed to win if they want to stay in that game, in that rotation. And then V Taylor this time gets the opening kill. Yet again, it's going to be Cloud9, but we all know what happened. Palu with the 1v4 clutch yet again. And then the final side that we've just seen, round number 4. We're going back to Church Arsenal where it all started. Nova gets the opening kill. Yet again, Cloud9. And you know what happens? Ness gets a 1v2 clutch. So every single time, it is Cloud9 that gets that opening kill so far. It is a clutch, on the other hand, of Liquid that somehow manages to run away with the round. It must be really frustrating because they do everything right up until the last moment.
Team Liquid fans, I mean, it must be amazing being a Team Liquid fan right now, but also it must be exceptionally stressful to see. So it's like, no, this one, oh no, Polly just does a 1 versus 4 clutch. Oh no, this one, oh no, Nesk.
No, Jenna is definitely vibing right now. She's having heart attacks and then like
just straight back in.
It's a roller coaster.
It's an emotional roller coaster being a Team Liquid fan, I can assume. But obviously, you know, it's felt a little bit long because we've had a couple of rehosts. We're only 4 rounds in. It's a 4-0. We could be halfway through the game. We could be a quarter, depending on what happens going forward. It's all down, I guess, to the mental at this moment of C9 to be able to try and pull themselves together and try and lock some solidity because, as we said, 4-0.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not descriptive of the game that we've seen, but at the same time, that's because of Cloud9 not being able to lock out rounds. I would say more, don't get me wrong, Liquid fans, I love what I'm seeing in these big clutches. This is so much fun. But
it is insane what's happening.
It's C9's mistakes that are allowing this to happen.
It's C9's mistakes, but it's Liquid that is abusing them to perfection to make sure that they got these 4 rounds. Because 4 times in a row, I'm going to say it again, Cloud9 gets the opening kill. However, it's followed up by 4 clutches on Liquid's side instead. So, you know, it could be better for Cloud9. Liquid, you know, that's the thing. You got 4 clutches, but do you really feel confident if you get 4 clutches and that's how you win the rounds every single time? Because they're always on the back foot until the final 5 seconds.
No, that's it. I think that's the big thing to take away from this is, as we said, the timeouts, these moments, they're for them to try and talk and try and tie these things together, because it's not that they are swiping this other team aside for a 4-0 storyline. It's things are getting very stressed, things are getting away from them, and they're clutching and clawing their way back in to this game. They've got to try and find a way to turn this into a little bit more solid ground, a little bit more solidity. Haha, they're called Liquid. I said solid ground. But listen, it's not the most reliable thing to try and hold on to that because we know how efficient they can be strategically. That's the big thing about Liquid is they are usually the ones in control. And so far, they're 4-0 up, but I wouldn't say it's really been under their decree.
Yes, but it also managed to force off these clutches. Imagine if that poke mat would have been seen, frost mat, down underneath the rotation and it would have been shot out. It would have been maybe a completely different story. Maybe Paolo wasn't even going to be able to get himself into that 1v3 situation right after. But it doesn't matter anymore. We're going to see CTV cash yet again. Liquid are absolutely going strong right here. Clutch after clutch after clutch after clutch. And now round number 5, and the question is, will they repeat it? Or is it going to be Cloud9 that finally manages to fix out a round?
I guess we'll have to find out as we find ourselves back on CCTV. Now, this is actually a site that we've talked about at length in EUL as a region and in APAC North, to be fair, in that we've seen it fall off in success rate for defenders generally recently. It's been one of those sites where it hasn't had the success rate that it's had in previous seasons, to the point where a lot of teams have actually opted to bring it as their tertiary site after gym and bedroom rather than before it. It's tough to hold as attackers, as defenders even, at the minute, because of all the myriads of success and strangleholds attackers can put onto that site.
All right, action phase has started. We see Nesk going for a bit of spawn peek, a bullet hole spawn peek at that. It's not going to be able to land it. Actual drone was aware of it as well from happening, and you see some pressure coming down now from the likes of Cloud9. They had the information, they were almost able to capitalize off it. But Nask didn't stay in place for long enough, and now it decides to put some pressure down onto construction. He's going to be trying to play from that door, hoping to put some pressure down.
Now, as they quickly pop open the CC wall here to make sure they get that big cross angle, they have it. And as we said, that's pretty much a standard now. It's not really a question of if, it's a question of when getting that wall open, and it's down to whether you want to take it from that side, and then you'll need to get control of red and of rafters and try and dig your way in that way, or if you go across to the opposite flip, as it seems like they might be doing. Some attention is being paid to the bottom of garage, but most of it is coming in via the jacuzzi side, via logistics. We have the first drop in via Logi Hatch, and well, it's that stress now across construction that's going to try and be their successor this time around.
Now, mind you, we have the exact same setup and the exact same choices being made by Liquid and Cloud9 right here. Static opening up that little rotation hole right there, allowing them to move through. And we have Liquid with the 2 members that are roaming around, whilst Shal trying to get some information out on the player in the top of red right now. Sexy Cake not being accompanied with a shield might make his position a little bit more dangerous to play in. As I believe it's going to be Envy Taylor trying to put some pressure down, but Nask misses all his shots. He's going to get re-peaked. It's about half of his HP, but he's going to be able to escape. Maybe, possibly, is he going to get chased down all the way down into church? That's the question.
Well, he draws some attention down. He's making himself a quick rotate. That should have been his kill, but PSK is the one that locks it off, and why not one more before getting taken out on the opposite side? Envy Taylor is taken care of, and they finally have somebody close enough to finalize that kill, but the cost of 2 bodies in the change. You look at who's gone, that's both your hard destructions outside Maverick, who can do the job, but slow, depending on the canisters he has left in his pocket. That could severely limit their approach from the opposite side. Luckily, they'd already done half the work and been able to get the main wall open, which they're trying to keep a bit of a handle on here, but with that body still in rafters, they no longer have that advantage of trying to clear their way in.
I think that's the big disadvantage here from Cloud9, is that they're not really trying to actively take control of Garage. It lost them the round the last time around, and well, now there is going to be that pressure that will prevent them from moving into the CCTV room, and that will force them to go through construction, hoping to pick up these kills. And for example, the smoke that is playing there, and the second member as well, as Moringa will be able to pick up 1 kill. 2, and then the C4 comes in. Liquid, this time without the clutch, they got the opening kill as well, and they will be winning the round. And 0-5 is where we're at, as the beautiful last C4 comes in, just to blow them up into the next round, and round 6 that will be.
Well, we said the times might help Liquid get themselves into a little bit more of their form. Yeah, they're 5-0 up, we know, but they've been struggling to keep that middle of the round, that important bit of locking down the execute in their pocket that time. Yep. We saw them playing closer to their usual potential, their full potential that has highlighted them as the tournament favourites for a lot of people. it was their pace. And honestly, out of this entire game, I would say that's one of the few times we've seen a team hold a pace for an entire round, if not the only time.
Yeah, they did manage indeed to stay in control of that round. And now Liquid have the opportunity to go for the clean first half. They're going to Gym Bedroom. If they manage to win this one, it's going to be the clean sweep on the first half, that is, and they have the opportunity to close this with a 7. Oh, I don't think we've seen that yet over either of these streams.
So, Cloud9, it's down to you to try and not be the first team that has suffered that sort of defeat in that sort of moment. Liquid, well, you're trying to speedrun. You're trying to get through this game as quick as possible, even on club, which is quite slow, to be honest, but it's not quite over yet, and we've seen big comebacks today. I think it's worth pointing out and always highlighting. Some teams have come back from big deficits.
And there's always 2 halves to a game of Siege, so if Liquid is going to be able to win 5 of these defensive rounds, then, well, maybe Cloud9 will be as well. You have to wait and see, as after this round we'll head into that side swap. But first, it's going to be Liquid on the back of 4 clutches and 1 completely in control round. They've been able to come up to the scoreline where they are right now, and it is definitely not as one-sided as it may seem.
Well, some blood instantly sprayed through as Moringa is the one that suffers from Static's Overwatch there, but obviously couldn't quite get a little bit more. It's Shael that gets dropped first. Nesk just swung round. He was the big problem for a while before, and he's been able to strike first yet again. It came down to a huge bout of utility, and you look what's just been taken off the board there in the pockets of Shael, and that's going to make this a much trickier affair. More gets popped. The explosions obviously are able to take care of some of these ADSs. They're being shot out before they can explode, and Nesk is juggling this perfectly.
And just playing in that shield, trying to hold control. Oh, that was shot a bit too far, and now he gets the kill as well. There's no way that they're going to be able to get rid of that shield now. He's going to be trying to go for the second kill as one actually manages to pass, but there's still a third member that is looking to put some pressure down. No, actually will be going to that roof. So Nesk now has the opportunity to try and cut back into CCTV. Harper finding himself right behind the monitors right here in the middle of CCTV, and well, he's in quite a bit of danger because there is pressure from CCTV, construction, and of course from the red stairs.
Last time taking care of Nesk was a huge blow of utility. This time it's been even worse because they couldn't even fully pop it off before both their players popped off under the gun of Nesk. Now, just over a minute left, huge swathes of work left to do. They've opted for more attention onto the windows itself, which Liquid have read very quickly as they try and get themselves a little bit more balanced and countered round. Harper is hoping that the bait is taken and the Liquid player goes for a bit of a bold rotate here, but we've said it before. Sometimes these Liquid players, they'll hold their post and position until they are under the dire threat of death.
There's no need for them to move now. They have full control. They're in a 2-man advantage. They're just holding on to no one is in CCTV. If they jump in the window, they also have the cover right here as the Thermite actually getting quite close. Harper crouch walking a little bit closer to that door. As soon as Sexy Cake knows the cover or the pressure is going to be coming in, he's going to be making that call, and suddenly it is going to be Nesk that will be jumping in from that rotation. Now we have a 1 kill coming in. Paolo and Harper will be dropping. It's only left to Harper now.
He was able to get a very quick double there, but 20 seconds, and no, not through that door. You got to head back round where they're already shooting. The rotation of Logistics Construction pops a flash one way, knows he's got to swing the other. There's a man down low. It's Palu, and it's Liquid on map point, a flawless defense half.
Liquid on 6-2-0 on the back of 4 clutches, we have to say yet again. It could have just as well been 4-2 here for Cloud9. But it's 6-0 for Liquid nonetheless, and that means we are going into 6 consecutive match points right now. So that means no more mistakes from Cloud9 if they want to be making it to overtime to still have the opportunity to grab that 1 point they need for the standings.
Well, Church Arsenal is where they're going to try and start the toughest possible climb on the turn of the half. A full reverse sweep is what is needed here just to get to OT, and then even then there's a little bit more work to do, but it's against Liquid, who's not only come into this as a great team, they're currently in this game itself just had the best 2 rounds they've had across the entirety. They've found themselves with that smooth level of control they love to play around in, and now it's just making sure that carries over onto their attack.
Cloud9 What do you have available to you to make sure that you're going to be able to turn this one around? It will be a hell of a fight. You need 6 rounds in a row to at least go to overtime. And at that point forward, you still need to get 2 out of the next 3 rounds afterwards to make sure that you win the game. It would have been the craziest comeback we've seen so far on SI. Let's see if they can make it happen, or if Liquid will be trying to close this one off shortly.
Well, opening for the big possibility of a huge roam. Here they are, doubling down a lot of information control. They want to try and waste as much time as possible on these upper floors. The Mute Mozzie combination, we see it played and flaunted quite a lot at the minute across all the regions. It really severely limits and handicaps how a team can approach. And most importantly, a team that is cautious will find that timer ticking away so fast. But if a team is active and bold and trusts their calls and their guts, and most importantly their guns, which Liquid do, they might be able to make some quick work of these top 2 floors.
I'll have to try and indeed make some quick work of these top 2 floors. Just quickly making sure they open up into Jacuzzi. Liquid, that is, putting up some pressure onto that top floor. We saw it from Cloud9. Back then, Liquid was on the defense, fell back really quickly. Look at that drone, actually. Perfect line of sight down onto Nova, who's unaware of the position of that drone. Will be pushed shortly, but MV Taylor's still around as well, and he is going to be the lifeline, so to say, of Nova.
Ooh, another spray round into the back of a body, but they're able to slip away and escape. Gives the game away that someone's there, but look at the drop on Logistics. Yet again, another player is able to slip past either side. Didn't want to accidentally get caught in friendly fire. They both suffer, but they're both out of there very quickly, and they hightail it all the way back down to the lows of the site now, and we find most of the C9 bodies, now all of them, as Shael drops back round 2. It is suddenly all over Liquid's map.
Go. We have the Maverick of Sexy Cake trying to open up onto the motorcycle hatch. Harper not trying to contest that with the C4, hoping to potentially get that kill. If you do manage to stick it, then it would have been maybe a round saver, but as Sexy Cake continues, we'll be trying to go for a motorcycle take, maybe even open up into the church wall as well.
Yeah, a lot of canisters obviously used in terms of being able to get that open, but this is a map of hard destruction, which is why we see 3 options in the pockets of Liquid itself. A minute on, and all 10 players are still on board, but Liquid is free to start doing their setup and the take. Can they lock it down with a little bit more consistency than Cloud9 were able to when they were pushed and pressured for roughly around the same amount of time left on that clock? Now still big angles and still a little bit of presence inside Kitchen, but for the first time we're seeing some pressure inside Dirt.
Yeah, see a little bit of a line of sight being opened up, giving a bit of cover for Sexy Cake to make sure he can open up that rotation now, actually being challenged. 20 seconds left on the clock. They really need to start pushing now. Moringa will be going through Dirt. The rest is setting themselves up above the hatches. This will be the moment for Liquid.
Yeah, Moringa has gone deep, and he might not have been detected, but with only 15 seconds, Lesion pops up, Static drops 1, Sexy Cake gets Nova with a grenade, but it's suddenly everything is happening all over the site. 3 versus 2 as it falls down to MB Taylor popping the last inside blue. Sexy Cake tries to stick the diffuser. He has no other options. Dug around the back of Church, but it's just a matter of finding the man and sending him away. Cloud9, they're not going to be the first team that suffers an entire swipe, but they still have a lot left to do.
They still have a lot left to do indeed. It will be a 6-1 right now, and well, it seemed to be going quite well for Liquid. They got the initial kills in, but Cloud9 instantly managed to fight back. And then you're thinking back about the top floor, what we saw coming out right there, the Lesion being tagged up to about half HP, the Mozzie being tagged down to about 25 HP. And if any of those kills would have gone the Cloud9 way, the Liquid way, this could have been the end. This could have been a 7-0 right now. So like these little things that happen at the start of the round where you're trying to flush away the roamers are really beating into them right now.
Still, Liquid, it was a bit of a tough take, but it was that top site choice for Cloud9. And it boiled down to time. I know I highlighted it around the minute 50-second mark because it was something that had suffered Cloud9. It had unfortunately suffered you there too as you tried to throw yourself into the site with all the bodies and players still standing. You obviously lost that opener inside Dirt. 1 kill, 1 firefight had gone a different way, and that could have potentially been a different story, but unfortunately, when you write a story in 15 seconds, well, as my teachers used to say, it's not very good. Stop trying to hand this in.
You got to put in a little bit more words.
A little bit more words.
Otherwise, they're going to be denied. As they were on Liquid's side, and right now Cloud9 going over to CCTV Cache. You see a little bit of defenses being set up for Garage. Might even be accompanied with 2 of these Electroclaws, making sure that they have to use a bit of utility to make sure that those walls would be opening up. And as they both, or all 4, get electrified, rather, it is going to be Liquid that will have to find a way around it. Of course, you can do it. Oh no! Static from where was that? Was that pre-placed on the door? I have no clue.
I think that was thrown.
Beautiful C4 coming in. Very deep indeed, and Nask will be taken out. And that doesn't help either if you go for a team kill right after. Cloud9 have an opportunity here to go up for a second round. Let's see if they can make it stick.
Not 100% sure what happened on the team kill there. Everything's gone a little bit askew here on the opener. Cloud9, okay, the C4 was from their pockets. The other, potentially a little bit of a missed moment. But look at what's off the board. Maverick is gone. That big wall that's held on by bandit charges, that's going to stay stoic. That's going to stay locked in. Maybe that's where the spray came through. They tried to catch somebody else and accidentally clipped the man burning the hole through the wall. Either way, if there was anybody you wanted off the board for this take, well, he's gone.
You wanted to keep that Maverick alive if you're Liquid. Definitely with the bandit charges that are still there. This will force you to go for a vertical take if you still want to take care of it. Of course, they do have the buck. They have the utility available to it, but they might not have the time, especially not with 2 of them being ready inside of, well, on top, rather, of the logistics hatch. They need to make a move soon, Liquid that is, and as they're still droning out, this is Cloud9's round to lose.
Yeah, we could see the body there just under the window. I think it was a bit of a missed firefight as they swung on to that construction window itself. But Parlu, he's dug himself in and he's just trying to see if he can catch somebody that gets a little bit loose and a little bit aggressive. C9, though, they know the boon that they've been handed and they're going to make sure they don't overstep. Buck, he's gone underneath. He's trying to find the angle, but he finds a little bit of a body instead. Crawl out of there, Harper. Get out of there. And he somehow escapes as the army man crawls just through the door. And that was a little bit panicked and a lot of buckshot in his stomach.
Now, this has been the issue. If he would have been taken care of, the Electroclaw that has been located first would have at least been able to get some support right there. And he's still trying to fight it, but he literally cannot. Not quite sure where it's located myself as well, but he continues searching with only 20 seconds left on the clock. This must be a call coming out right now. Just forget about it. There's no way you're going to be able to find it. As Moringa still tries to put some pressure down. Nova, in the meantime, playing close with that shotgun and a 1v2, but it gets shut down.
Well, that allows Liquid to try and spill their way into the site itself. PSK finds one more, drops close. Shyal, however, gets the cover on the back stairs, and one more. It's just PSK inside the site, but no longer Cloud9. They take their second of a necessary 6.
The second of the 6 they need to fight back to overtime and make up for the clutches that were lost. They got a little bit of help here from Liquid, of course, with the team kill that came through onto the Maverick, which really tossed well, every strategy out of the window, because how are you going to be opening up that wall? They had to put some pressure down from below. You saw that the Buck was trying to do it, couldn't really find the Electroclaw utility necessary to allow it. And now 2-6 is the score. It's still looking very grim here for Cloud9, don't get me wrong. But there is an opportunity to fight back. We've seen it before. They have been better over those first 4 or 3 out of 4 rounds of the first half. They just weren't able to close it out. Are they going to be able to make sure that happens now on their defenses? I believe they have one of the highest defensive win rates inside of Apex, something about 70% or something like that, like around that ratio. Are they going to be able to make that translate into SI right now?
I don't even have to make it translate. They have to do a little bit better and a little bit sharper and make sure that when it comes out in Portuguese, it's an 100% defensive win rate. And that's just to get themselves into OT with a chance at pulling the win from this showdown. Gym Bedroom is where we head to now. If they can try and get this one, that they've at least completed the rotation of 3 sites. It still means they're on death's door every single time, but it gives you that bit of a win, that bit of a swan song to say, we've done it once, let's just run it back.
We got to continue going. There's no slowing down now, as otherwise they will be losing out on this matchup and on that point. With 3 minutes left on that clock, we are heading into that action phase. Maybe the last one, maybe there's still many more to come. We do not know it either. What we do know, however, is that Cloud9 is setting themselves up for a bit of an extension into CCTV cache. Will be covered up with a electrical arm, making sure that the breach will be hard. Of course, they do have the Maverick available, so you might see him do some work on that plateau wall.
Well, Liquid, they still know what they are capable of, and they still know that they just need one bit of success to start to fall into their favor to take it. The last time we obviously saw some of the play here, it ended up, or one of the last times, it was a 4 versus 1 clutch. Then it was a cool lockdown, and well, yet again, Nesk is gone as an opener. MV Taylor is able to get the big drop with the 9mm, with the 1.5. Oh yeah, Frost, if you haven't been watching since she got some adjustments, she's pretty gosh dang good.
I'm getting flashbacks to the Empire game where Joystick was playing on this exact same spot with the Frost and managed to pick up a 4K, almost an ace. And right now, MV Taylor. If there's a man on the lineup of Cloud9 who can make it happen, it will probably be him or Shal. Right now, just holding up strong. They have the entry kill. That is what they need, but they need a little bit more. They need to make sure that they're heavily in control of this round. And as they have fallen back from CCTV cache, then you see Liquid automatically will be trying to take control of it. That's a very unfortunate breach right there. Luckily, there is a Maverick on the board. They could fix it if they need to, but as it's not a direct contest point, there's no need.
Yeah, Sexy Cake's gone. He's got other work he needs to do, and obviously with Nesk biting the bullet, the first body 2 rounds in a row and very early from someone swinging towards a door or a window, well, it's been a little bit costly. They've opened a little bit of a hole. You wonder what that's for? Well, he's probably going to demonstrate with a frag grenade or potentially hop up onto the cache banister behind. But in the meantime, MV Taylor's, he's hopped out and got Parlou.
Managed to drop all the way down to the first floor, and right now we'll be trying to go for a bit of a rotate. He seems maybe even up on a flank on the red stairs if he feels like it. At least the ADSs have been destroyed and have been wasted. The shield now get taken out as well. And Static is going to be trying to take some firefight, at least alleviate some of the pressure of the potential flank of MV Taylor that was in the making. But it seems like he's just going to directly head back towards the side as they have that 2-man advantage.
Yeah, he's got a bit of an explore now as he doubles back round the bottom of main stairs. Make sure all of the focus comes from one side. Harper finds a bit of a fight against Moringa, but as they steady on through and just try and pop this corner, lying down in the close corner, pre-firing a pistol. It's a skeleton key up close, and it opens the most important door for them right now, which is finally finding a kill on this round. Another Banshee and a body inside the smoke. Doesn't know. He's rotated right up close. Doesn't know. They're just on the opposite side, and the diffusers drop too. They have to try and flood in, but C9 complete a 3-round rotation. And with how cool and calm that was, you would not think that they started this half 6-0.
You wouldn't think it indeed, and well, if any of those clutches would have gone the other way, we would have maybe seen already a Cloud9 victory right here. It's still kind of curious, like Shao was just chilling in the smoke right there. He wasn't moving any bit. He didn't even have to move in the end right there as his teammates took up those final 2 kills, but that could have been a great flank coming through because you don't expect someone to just blindly sit and wait inside the smoke to potentially pick up a kill right there because the smoke gets tossed out so that the attackers don't really have to deal with the line of sight at that point. But it's not a wall at the same time. It's not a reinforcement you suddenly put up in a doorway or something to make sure that you're not going to be able to be challenged from that area. However, match point still. 3 more rounds, Cloud9 needs to climb back. 3 more rounds, they need to be flawless if they want to make sure that they're going to be going up to overtime. Are they going to be able to do it? Is, of course, the big question. They did manage to win 2 sides, basically all on their own on the CCTV cache. They got a little bit of help with, of course, the Maverick being team killed out. So if we get back around to that side, it is still going to be the question, what if he wasn't?
It's a lot of what ifs, but at the end, we just got to kind of look at the who done it. And I mean, who done won this game?
Don't make it too hard on me right here, right?
Sorry.
Okay, who won that? Okay, yes. Okay, I got it. I caught up right there.
I don't want to put too much pressure on you. I know you're doing your best.
I'm trying to hang on. You didn't code this into my AI.
I think, are you the only caster here where English isn't your first language until Milos shows up?
Yes, I am. Well, unless you count any of the Brits who apparently don't speak English as their first language. Or what?
The amount of times Medics says that. But, well, bottle of water, Where's a flood of Liquid? When you kind of need it, they're able to do the 6-0, and here they just need a drip. Just that little last taste, please. Liquid fans are crying out for the possibility of them getting a win. All of Brazil, as we said at the very beginning of this, as a region, oh, if a Brazil team is on the board, you know they're getting behind them. You know that they want to see some of that wonderful Brazilian success. And they're looking at Liquid right now, just on the cusp of one little sip of being able to put themselves up to the top of the board alongside Team 1.
We just need that one drop to make the bucket overflow.
Other Liquid jokes.
Not a Liquid joke.
We're the first people to ever make
I'm not sure, but you know, I would dare to say yes. But no, C9 still on their defense. A lot of work is being done by Moringa, who's opening up many of these vertical angles. And in the meantime, you see Harper, who's ready to play around with the Electro Glass. C4 being tossed up. Will be exploded just a bit before Moringa was actually right over it. Could have been a very good kill right there on the likes of Cloud9, but unfortunately will not be able to live up to it.
If Moringa had potentially gone for the entrance onto Kitchen there instead of going down along the corridor, I think that would have been a confirmed kill, and that's what they were trying to play around. But because he dug in straight past it, he was able to escape it with half his health. It still means what he's doing here is very dangerous. For that reason, dropped on an impact. We see it, and he doubles down. He's caught himself a Moringa, and Vitaela's going to add that to his Pokedex, which I think Pulse is the one that's pulling it up, as they try and find a little bit more intel on who's above. The buck is gone, but so is Sexy Cake yet again. They lose hard destruction. The diffuser goes cold inside Kitchen, and nobody likes a cold meal, especially one covered in blood, but... well, the blood's still hot. Sexy Cake crawls away, leaves a trail, but survives. And that is so important when you see the roll. A very quick pickup there of a diffuser by PSK.
And just quickly recovering it, knowing that there's been a lot of pressure right there as both these Selmas will be detonating, meaning that the hatch will now have opened up. However, the question is here, Liquid, do you really want to be pushing down from that one hatch after everything that happened? Paolo almost dropping, will be taking down Static on the second shot. But it was almost a body block down there coming in into Untitled as well. 2 men above the hatch. There's going to be the drop right there. Are they going to be able to pick up the kill and stop the plant? Yes, they will. It's only up to Sexy Cake now with 10 seconds left.
10 seconds, no health, but one body for the trouble. Not even that just. Takes care of Untitled, but Static is there to lock it off. Cloud9 with, again, a very convincing hold down inside. That basement point there as they lock down that kitchen hatch, find 2 bodies, and to the surprise of probably nobody, a timeout here for Liquid.
There it is. There's only 2 more rounds left. They also know this was a round where they had a good opportunity. They lost a man early on to a C4, and they TK'd their own Maverick. So there's 2 things that are unlikely to happen. So this is going to be a very good shot for them. This is the opportunity that they need to close out the game, and thus they use their 45 seconds at this very moment. Listen up, guys. We need to make sure that this round is going to be perfect. We've scrimmed them many times. We know what to do. We know what they play like. Let's just get in our game. This is our time to shine. This is our time to pick up a second point and put ourselves back on the top of the group. And are they going to be able to make it happen? They are favorites. There's a lot of pressure on them, mind you. And, well, as basically always, the APAC teams are considered underdogs. So Cloud9 might not be perceiving it as such.
I think that's it as well, as you've got to give kudos to Cloud9 for being able to pull back into this. We talked a lot about how the kind of mental game can play when you're losing out on these clutch situations based on your own mistakes, based on how things haven't been working, and then it seemed to sour towards the end of their attacks. With the 2 best rounds I think Liquid have played was rounds 5 and round 6, but then since then, to pull back from that, to find yourself confident. They're doing big aggressive jump outs and run outs. They're going for these big bold plays, and they're doing it with all the caution of a game that is on round 1. That deserves credit, but to the eyes of Liquid, does it deserve overtime? That is theirs to try and dictate now.
It's theirs to try and find out. Of course, 4 clutches on the Liquid side. Brought them to where they are right now, otherwise this game could have been long done and dusted. Cloud9 was just a little bit more careful on their attacks at the very dying seconds of it. And again, we see the same setup coming down. Reinforcements into garage will be followed up shortly by the 2 Electroclaws being tossed in, making sure that the Maverick will have to be used if they want to put pressure down from that site. Again, an opening in the doorway, alright, so I kind of missed that detail last time around. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. Door completely gets open, alright, so going to make sure that everything is ready for a potential C4 again. There's no Valkyrie to feed information to him, so the last time it either had to be a default camp, but that's very unlikely.
Yeah, I think it was one of those things where they had a bit of intel and they had a little bit of luck, which is just as important. Isn't going for the Kobe on the C4 this time round from the top rope. No, is instead going to hold down and see if he can dig in, as is tradition, has those ADSs to make sure they can't just pop round and burn grenades. But Liquid, they're not going for that approach as of yet. They're still seemingly opening up elsewhere and around, going wider as they go and finally find their approach here onto the CCTV wall.
Liquid have a lot of pressure on this round right now. Need to make sure that they open up this site, and they need to make sure they open up the kill count. Nova is going to be the first one to take a lot of damage. Not quite sure from where could have been the drone hole. So will stay alive for now. Has 3 smoke canisters to play with. Very important detail. There's Liquid. Very careful about how they are approaching this site.
Where's the bandit, you say? Well, he's down in church. He's going for a big rotate, background up main stairs. He's pulled off, and you can see PSK is trying to drone out lounge and see what else is there. Shayal, however, hoping somebody pops in via the blue utility window, but otherwise no presence as of yet. Instead, rotates back over lounge and back up red stairs. Look at Liquid. They're not putting themselves into these situations where they might get dropped. They're playing with a bit of this caution that we haven't seen them swinging in right now. They want to make sure, for the first time on their attacks, that all of the mechanics are done a little bit, I guess, with a bit of a safety bubble away from Cloud9, because they haven't been sure on where Cloud9's going to be next. And well, now it's seeming to be very successful so far. Static dug in to a little bit of corner by that metal wall, but is able to actually find an escape out.
And the fact that he's allowed to rotate all the way back up and stay safe at that, they still think he's probably around there. And Envy Taylor, on the other hand, he's gone quite aggressive. Ready to use the C4. Will be able to stay alive and rotate all the way back towards the lounge right here. Still no other pressure coming down from either the blue side of things. There's a drone inactive actually under that table. There it is. They know he's here now. Need to make sure that he is going to be safe. Need to make sure that he's not going to be losing his life unnecessarily, because Cloud9, they need to bring this back. They need to bring this to a 6-6. And well, Sexy Cake is trying to take control with Moringa right now. Still static grounding up here. Gets taken down, however, Nesk with the first kill.
Finally, they've been able to find the first bit of blood, and they set themselves up for this Rafters take. Dropped off, but going to pick themselves back up and dig inside CC. It finally seems like C9 have an idea on where the push and the pressure is going to come through. Nesk finds MV Taylor on the loose side. 5 versus 3. Moringa is the first off the board, but they swing deep, find one more, and there it is, a flawless Liquid. Out of nowhere, pick themselves back up, pull themselves to an end and finalize.
He just wallbang him. He just blind fire wallbanged the guy that was standing right behind it. And Liquid able to get the 7-4 indeed. It was a very valiant effort from Cloud9, bringing it almost back. It was a 6-0. They brought it back to a 6-4, but unfortunately fell on the side where I said if that would have gone any other way, it could have been a good Liquid round. And you saw it right here. Church Arsenal going Liquid's way. But if we look at all the clutches that happened, if we look at what Cloud9 should have been closed out, Liquid can say that they're very lucky to still win this game.
Hey, if you're going to do it with style, do it with panache, and do it with a blind fire spray through a soft wall. Liquid, lock it off, and there was a bit of play and a bit of confrontation and a bit of a struggle, and you can see it on the faces of Cloud9. To be fair, they played it brilliantly and almost clawed it back after some disappointing early rounds. Did not go their way, but, well, it's still a week's left of play, and they have some time now to talk about it. But before we do that, we have a couple of faces you might recognize. We'll throw it to a quick break before we go back to the desk with Kixon and Taro. See you after these ads.